Hello everyone, welcome back. With Valentine's Day right around the corner, I thought I would take today to give you a really good tutorial all about roses and how to arrange certain bouquets, how to treat them, how to put them in the right vase, a nice little fun little DIY, and of course I want to bring you some information so that you can really learn about this loving flower that is really the quintessential image of Valentine's Day. It's gonna be a lot of fun today, guys, so let's get started. Now, first of all, I want to mention to you something a little bit special about the rose that some of you may not know. The rose is a really magical flower, and so the human body has a frequency that vibrates around 62 to even sometimes up to 90 megahertz in some individuals. The rose vibrates at 320 megahertz. The only flower that even comes close is lavender, and that's something around 118, 115 megahertz. What does that mean? The rose is considered a highly sacred and beautiful flower indeed for this reason. It has a very high vibration, and the vibration of love is also quite high, so even approaching up in the 500 megahertz. What does this mean? There's a reason that we all see the rose and associate this with love. Love is a very high frequency in one's life, and the rose is the best flower to symbolize that. Now, that little tidbit being said, I just find it fascinating because the rose is my favorite flowers. I have them planted all over my home, and so I have a lot of tips that I can share with you on how to maintain your roses and really show them off in the best possible way. And so the first thing that I would like to take you through is potentially how to elevate a bouquet that you receive for Valentine's Day. And so this is kind of a fun little experiment. If you receive a bouquet of roses, one of the first things that you may notice when you receive your roses is they will be very tight together. And so one of the best tricks that you can do to get your roses to really bloom open and show their full beauty is to add ice to your vase. Now, this is a funny trick that my mom actually showed me, and I couldn't believe how amazing this works. And the funny thing about this is an amazingly beautiful bouquet, and I just want to show you that there is a way to take this bouquet and even change it, elevate it even further, and continue to enjoy its beauty even after your roses have potentially died. And so this is what I want to show you. This bouquet has a lot of beautiful greenery and some baby's breath in the roses. But I'm going to say something that may be a little bit controversial. It's a gorgeous bouquet, but it can also be a little bit dating. So this is kind of a bouquet that's always been done this way. If you really want to take this bouquet and also make it look very modern in your home, you can up the elegance of this bouquet even further. So one of the things that I've done is separate the greenery, the baby's breath, from the roses. And I'm actually going to take a really beautiful vase. Now I separated out the baby's breath and I put them in a nice complementary little bundle and placed them in this beautiful small complementary vase. And by separating these out, they already look very modern, very nice, and very elegant. Go ahead and add all the greenery into that vase, and this is a stunning piece that lasts for probably a month or two in your home. So this kind of greenery lives a really long time in water, and the ones that I have are even blooming now. And so you can see I have them in my dining room and showing them off in that decor and how beautiful it looks in that environment, just as the greenery alone in this vase. And so this is what I was meaning by after the roses have died, you can still use these pieces and have a really beautiful setting in your home. Now I'm going to do something a little bit fun with these roses. Because we've done the ice cube trick, they've completely fully bloomed open. I have always wanted one of those hat boxes full of roses. And so what I did is I got an old tin out that I had in my house, and I'm going to make my own hat box of roses. But many of us, especially coming off of Christmas, are going to have tons of these tins laying around your home. You know, Christmas tins, cookie tins, whatever. Grab one of those and do this little DIY. It's so cute and it's so elegant. I spray painted the tin itself black, and then I did the lid this beautiful copper metallic color, and I flipped that lid over, and then I just went ahead and glued it to the bottom. Then I added a beautiful elegant black ribbon to make it even a little bit more high-end appearing. And then on the inside, if you have one of those little plastic plant trays, you know, that they use underneath of plants to catch water, that'd be great to put in there. And then you want to add floral foam. Now, kind of ignore the floral foam that I've used here because I mistakenly got the wrong foam. The type that you need looks exactly the same as this one, but it's very soft and it absorbs water. And so this is for live flowers. And so that's really important that you use that type of foam so that way your roses are receiving water to them. I just spread that foam out on the bottom of this tin, and I went ahead and I took those rose heads and I arranged those in this tin, and the outcome with this beautiful elegant piece is so stunning. I was so happy, and every time I came out and looked at it, I was just so impressed by the way that it looks. It's such a gorgeous contrasting piece with that red on the black. It has a very high-end look to it, and it really gives it an extra level of elegance that takes the enjoyment of your florals to a whole nother level. And so this is a fun little DIY that I hope you try. Now in the next tutorial, I want to show you how to take a just standard daisy bouquet and then how to mix in roses to really elevate the appearance of that bouquet. So I received this beautiful bouquet of these fresh mixed flowers, and I think that one of the things that struck me is the difference that it can make in arranging these florals. And so first of all, without even adding any roses to it, I put those flowers in a vase without doing anything and just add water, which I think is what a lot of people do. And it looks kind of underwhelming. But even just doing the first step of taking that arrangement of florals and appropriately sizing them to the vase that you own, so taking, couple inches off of those stems and making sure that they're not too high outside that vase instantly is going to make that bouquet look fuller and nicer. Now I'm going to take this up even another notch because, like I said, I have a rose garden, so I would like to add in some roses to this just to really make this pop. If you don't have a rose garden, of course, you can just get another bouquet of flowers and mix them. Mixing two bouquets of flowers is really going to give you that amplified look that you were hoping for. And so, sometimes the bouquets, if you get at one of the grocery stores, can be a little bit on the smaller side. Just get two of the bouquets, add them together and mix them in, and watch how that blending process creates a really elegant piece. This is even a great tip for somebody who wants to give flowers as a gift. So this way you can really create something that looks like it has high impact. So like I said, I'm going to take the florals that I have from my own garden and I'm going to add them in. But what you want to keep in mind when you're blending two flowers together is it doesn't necessarily have to be the same color, but that complementary colors, you want to kind of arrange them across the bouquet. So, I'll take my yellow roses, for example, and I'll put them in the front, in the side, on the other side, so that the eye goes back and forth across the bouquet. And so you want to blend the flowers in together. And because I have everything appropriately sized to the vase, it creates a nice globe of flowers that's really stunning to look at. Now, in the last example, I would like to take some of the roses that are from my garden and give you a couple of pointers on vase choice, as well as some of the things that you want to consider when preparing your roses to place into your vases. So I have a mixture of roses here. I have some that have a very thin stem on them and have a lot of foliage, and these are a little bit more of a knockout type of rose, they're called. And then I have some that are on a long stem. They're very beautiful, and it's really a shame because it's hard to capture the beauty of these with the camera. They are so vibrant and so much more alive than you can see even in the video here. And in life, some of those roses are as big as my hand. So that one rose measures 6 inches across. It's enormous. And so they are really spectacular specimens. But I'm going to go ahead and just demonstrate how, when you use different vases, you can make your roses look differently. And so whether you're using a vase that comes to narrows in on itself, so it becomes a little bit more convex, or if you have a vase that is starting to flare out, how is this going to make a difference? And as well as a vase that goes straight up and down. I like to make sure when I'm setting up a rose display that I use several vases mixed together to create a display that are a little bit variations in size, height, styles. You've seen that in the beginning of the video where I even used a little bit more of decor piece type vases when I'm arranging flowers. And so I wanted to use some of the standard clear vases to give you a different perspective on example on that. But usually when you vary the sizes, that's a really good way to get beautiful pieces. Now, starting with the knockout roses, you want to make sure that you're removing some of the foliage that's going to be down underneath of the water line. And so doing that is going to try to keep the rot level down, and so that's going to keep your roses alive a little bit longer by keeping some of that foliage out of the water. So after I trim these down, I'm going to show you how they look in the different vases. And so I kind of create a globe of these flowers, and so I gather them in my hands, varying the sizes, and then I'm going to put them in the vase that flares out. And when you put them in the vase that flares out, you see that it kind of spreads the flowers out even more, and so it creates kind of a large domed appearance that may sometimes not look quite as full. But then if you take the same bouquet, gather it back together, and you put it in a vase that converges on itself, well, then you have a very tight globe of flowers that can, I think, look very elegant and even a little bit more modern when it has that bouquet type appearance. And it's all based on preference, really, and the style of your home. But I think that this is a really nice way to display flowers. And it just really depends on the situation. In this instance, I'm going to go with that tighter bouquet appearance. Now, moving on to the long stem roses, a couple of things that you can consider is if you're going to put them in single vases alone, or if you're going to put a couple of them together. I have a pretty interesting piece here with this metal divider that would allow you to use less roses and still get a little bit more of a full appearance by standing them up and keeping them closer together. If you keep the roses in a vase that flares out with these long stem roses, you're really going to lose the effect and drama of the rose because you're going to spread them out too much, especially if you have only a few. And so you really want to keep, for a few long stem roses, a straight up vase and keep them a little bit closer together, or display them in single pieces so that you can really capture their singular beauty, because I think you'll lose a lot of that when you put them in a vase that flares, because they just kind of lay over to the side and spread out, and you just don't get that same impact. Once I pick out the vases for these, then I go ahead and trim the roses the heights that I want them to be. So I wait to trim them so that way I can make sure that with the other vases that I'm preparing, that I have variation in height. And so I want to make sure that I don't cut them until the end. And then I just spread these out over my kitchen and enjoy it, and it's just such a beautiful treat. The water that you add to these, I'm going to give you a little trick. And so what you can do is create your own, and this is really easily done. I'll put the recipe up here on the screen, but it's just easily done with sugar, water, and apple cider vinegar. And there's different recipes you can use, but this one I think works quite well. And just add that to the plants, and they really thrive and really do well with that. So guys, I hope that you enjoyed that video, and that you have some ideas on how to take care of and arrange your own roses, or if you receive a bouquet this Valentine's Day, you maybe have some ideas of how you want to even lengthen out the time of use, or even elevate the way your bouquet looks even more. And so I hope that you enjoyed today, and go out and get yourself a nice bouquet of flowers. You deserve it. I'll see you guys next time. I have another little Valentine's video where I have a couple of fun little DIYs for you, and a couple of ways to arrange some Valentine's Day decor just for some inspiration, and just a little bit more of a fun video for you. I'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.